Tell us about the state law that you say should be repealed.
The state law is Certificate of Need. It is something that was put in the late 1970s, supposedly to address cost increases in healthcare by having state regulators determine when and where health services were needed, how many beds even, and how many new hospitals, how much equipment, things like that.
What did state legislators believe would come from that?
Well, the belief was that the reason healthcare costs were increasing back then was that hospitals were adding too much equipment, too many beds, building too many facilities, and then passing those costs on to the customers.
How would the legislature possibly know what the need for services would be? Wouldn't that be the bailiwick of the hospital or the doctor to determine what their patient load was and what the demand was?
Well, that question gets to exactly why these laws are failing. The Certificate of Need was put into place under a federal mandate back in the 70s, and then the mandate was lifted in 1987 as it became patently evident that it was counterproductive. And subsequently, 14 states got rid of their Certificate of Need laws. North Carolina and the rest of the Southeast were not among them.
Well, it seems like our current situation, increasing costs, more demand for services, particularly now in this era of the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare, that itself should tell people that the Certificate of Need law, commonly known as the CON law, C-O-N, has failed.
Well, and it is put in place under some of the same assumptions behind Obamacare, which is that healthcare is an industry that is unlike any others. The economics of it is not like any other private market, and therefore government needs to regulate it. And typically, whenever the government is doing that, as with Certificate of Need, as with Medicaid, which was one of the reasons why costs were increasing in the 70s, it's counterproductive and leads to more price increases.